So lately the topic of this game needs some type of role queue has been coming up a lot with Marvel Rivals, and I disagree strongly. Before we get into the video guys, 97% of you guys who watch my videos actually aren't subscribed. I hit my goal of 500 subs by the end of this month, but why not go for 650? So my new goal is 650 by the end of the month. If you guys can help me reach that, it would mean everything to me. Thank you so much for your support lately, and if you like this video, please leave a like. It'll help this video get out to more people. So this whole discussion started when Overwatch content creator CarQ tweeted this out. I think Marvel Rivals is pretty fun, especially the chaos of learning all the new heroes they added. But after this initial honeymoon phase wears off, I think this game needs some form of role lock badly. It was not fun playing 0 tanks, 4 DPS, and 2 supports, or 1 tank and 5 DPS. Now, while I see the points CarQ is trying to make, I've gotta say, I really disagree. Now, for context, I've played Overwatch for a very long time, and it's one of my most played games ever, and I'm a really big Marvel fan, so a Marvel hero shooter was just a dream come true for me. But needless to say, I was there when Overwatch added role queue, and I remember how much of a controversy it was. The whole reason they added it was because of Brig. Brig was so broken that no matter what they did to nerf her, the only way to effectively make the game better was to add some type of role lock where you couldn't lock 3 tanks and 3 supports. Now, I want to preface this by saying while I'm advocating for Marvel Rivals not to add role lock, I think it was a good thing for Overwatch overall. Overwatch is a very competitively balanced game, and I think if you didn't add this feature, the game would have gone to a downward trend where it would have just been 3 tanks and 3 supports because Brig was seemingly impossible for that balanced team to nerf her. So for Overwatch, I think it was a net positive. But I don't want to see Marvel Rivals do this for a few reasons. The first one being, I think experimenting with team comps, especially early on in the game, is very fun, and I want Marvel Rivals to go in the exact opposite direction that Overwatch went with their balance. I saw Overwatch YouTuber Flats have the same sentiment, and I want to bounce off some of the points he made. He brought up the fact that Overwatch, like I said earlier, is very competitively balanced, and I agree with that. But I want to see Marvel Rivals go all out power fantasy. We're playing as Marvel superheroes, so make everything overpowered and keep the nerfs to a minimum unless something is blatantly broken. That way it actually feels like every hero is powerful. Doing that would definitely balance the game more towards casuals, but would be the complete opposite decision of what Overwatch did. Now, while for some people role queue is what saved Overwatch for them, for other people it's what killed it. People like having that flexibility to build whatever team comp you want. If you want to have 1 tank with 3 DPS, do it. If you want to have 4 DPS with 2 supports, do it. Having that flexibility allows for a lot more team comps to be made. And for some people, when Overwatch added role queue, it took away that creativity of building some really cool teams. And part of the appeal of Marvel Rivals, like I said, is we have the Marvel IP, and if you don't get to use some of your favorite Marvel superheroes simply because they're not a role that you want to play or need, that really sucks. Now, I just want to say that I do understand the frustrations of open queue. It can be really frustrating and tilting when you don't have a proper team comp to compete. If you don't at least have 1 tank or 2 supports, it can sometimes feel like the game is completely unwinnable. And for that, I think what Flat suggested is a really good idea. Instead of having role lock, how about we have a preferred role option? You aren't guaranteed to be locked into a certain role, but this system can be used to at least queue you with people who have different preferred roles than you to resemble somewhat of a proper team composition, while also keeping the open queue format. I understand why people want role queue, but I think adding this really would just take the creativity out of team composition building. And like I said, why would you offer the same thing Overwatch is offering? Overwatch is this game's direct competitor, so you want to offer something that you can't get in Overwatch. Sure, there's an open queue playlist in the competitive for Overwatch, but their main form of competitive play is role queue. Having an open queue game that is the same genre as Overwatch, where instead of competitively balancing the game, every hero is overpowered, creates a different type of experience for a player to look for when they're trying to pick which hero shooter to play. I understand the main issue with this is Duelist is simply the most fun role to play, and to fix that, I have a few suggestions. The tanks in this game are kind of underpowered right now, and it feels like some of them just don't really do any damage. For the sake of making the game more accessible to people and making people to actually want to play other roles, I think the tanks need a little bit of a buff. Specifically Captain America, Thor, they just need a little bit of a damage increase. Also, since one of the main appeals of this game is playing as Marvel superheroes, I think we need a few more A-list tank characters. Give me people like Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, Thanos, Colossus, War Machine, Doctor Doom, Juggernaut, Ant-Man. There's so many characters that are missing that could be such cool options in the tank role. And having those characters there would incentivize a lot of people to learn that role because they want to play those characters. I also think the same could be said for supports. You could add people like maybe Mysterio, Invisible Woman, Falcon, Silver Surfer, people like that. The problem with Marvel Rivals right now is there's 33 heroes and 18 of them are duelists. So that creates a big divide in the amount of characters per role, which incentivizes people automatically to go to Duelist because not only the most popular characters are there, but there's 18 of them, and that's over half of the roster. So while I understand the concerns of leaving this game in an open queue format, I think things like preferred role and adding more characters that are big names in each of the slots would give players reasons to play other roles besides Duelist and would make this open queue format flesh out a lot more and be a lot more tolerable. I also think a good idea they could do for this game is, one of the issues I'm having right now is if you want to run themed team comps, it's kind of hard to do so. What I mean by that is if you want to run an Avengers team comp that's Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Hulk, that's 3 tanks and 3 duelists. There's no supports there. So if a team wants to run that, they're getting penalized because they don't have a support. So I think adding more characters from the X-Men, or maybe adding the whole Fantastic Four but putting them all in different roles, would help a lot. So people could have those full teams of characters from the comics, but also build team compositions around them that make sense. I don't know, guys. I just think role queue, especially for a game with Marvel characters, would limit the creativity and drive players away from the game. I think this game needs to stand out, and to do that, they need to make every decision that Overwatch didn't make, and we'll see what ends up happening. Do you guys agree or disagree with me? Do you believe Marvel Rivals should have role queue? Do you believe it shouldn't? Comment down below which one you agree with and tell me why. Also, if you liked this video, please leave a like. It would help this video reach other people and start a conversation in the community. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.